Welcome back, artist. It is Monday, August 10th. It's our 74th day of sketching together. This week, our focus and our theme is talking about perspective. So we're going to be focusing on lots of different art this week that has to deal with the art of perspective when we're drawing. So we're going to do something very simple today. It might be really elementary for some of you. It might be more complex for others of us. We are going to, and I'm going to bring this closer to the screen, we are going to start with a cube because that's kind of where perspective starts. And so by the end of the week, we're going to be drawing houses and landscapes. We're going to be talking about vanishing points, horizon lines, vertical, parallel, all kinds of lines. So today I'm working simply with a 2B pencil, my sketchbook, and a ruler. Or a straight edge of any sort. So I am going to make I'm going to make a 3-inch cube on my page. Nah, 3 inches is a little too big. I'm going to make about a 2.5. 2.5 so that, and I want to make a cube. So a little more challenging. I'm going to take my paper down. I'm going to make my cube and I'm going to bring it back and show you. That way I'll get a cube that looks like a cube rather than something that you're looking at thinking, what on earth is that? That's not a cube. Okay, so I'm going to make it's going to be a 2.5 by 2.5. I want it to be square. 2.5 by 2.5 cube, and my paper is not quite big enough for this. So I may have to open up my big sketchbook here. Try something bigger. I am a person who can't draw a straight line even with a ruler. So if you look at this and you say, wow, that is not straight, you are absolutely correct. It will not be straight. Okay, so there is my square. Now it's a square, not a cube, right? So I'm going to stop right there with that because I don't have enough space because I made this too big. Now if I were working a little bit smaller, I would be able to do that. But we are going to pick a vanishing point. A vanishing point is where your eye looks to the horizon, and that's where all lines go. Now that vanishing point can change. If I move around the room or if I move outside to 20 feet from where I'm standing, that vanishing point, that perspective is going to change. In fact, there could be even two. I might be standing here. This might be my vanishing point up here. You might be standing here, and this is your vanishing point. You see the top of the box or the top of the cube there. I see it up here, so I'll see it this way. So there could be different vanishing points, but I'm going to open up this big sketch pad because I want to be able to draw a little bit bigger than what I'm drawing so that you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so back to making a cube. I'm going to make it 3 by 3, I think, just because I have the space now. Doesn't mean I'll be able to make a straight cube. I'm going to start at 1 inch there and see if I can take it to 4. Okay, so we're making a square right now, but what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making a cube. So we're going to make it dimensional. We're going from a 2D version to a 3D. So hopefully you can see my square there. I'm going to choose a vanishing point on my horizon. I'm going to just anywhere. I would recommend not here because I don't want to work with the vanishing point in that direction quite yet. I'm going to pick a left or right. I chose in my right, and now all my lines have to meet there. Okay, so I go from the corner, bottom left-hand corner, if I'm facing you, to my vanishing point. Okay, go to the top left-hand corner if I'm facing you, and I go to my vanishing point. This is not going to be so good because I'm working again sideways here. I go from the top right-hand corner if I'm facing you to my vanishing point. Okay, So now you can see if I'm standing down here or if I'm here, I can see all of my lines are headed in the same direction. Now, it may not look like that. It may look like a little wonky, but they do. Now, I'm going to create the invisible line, which would be in here. If this were a solid cube, we wouldn't be able to see it. But from this very far right corner, if I'm looking at you, if I'm standing facing you, I'm going to go to my vanishing point. Okay, so now it's getting... You have just kind of, your mind has to figure this out as we go because it's all going to start blurring a little bit together. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to parallel to this line of my cube. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to go about 3 inches. And I am going to go straight parallel to that line, not get kind of kitty corner. I want to be straight up and down the paper, 3 inches up. So here, this would be a cube. I know it doesn't look like it, but this is how perspective plays out. This is how it looks to our eyes. Okay, then here on the top, I'm going to. This line is really bad there, but from this line I just made over to this line, top of the cube. I'm going to knock my easel off the table here. Okay, I'm going to go over. Okay, so I now have the top of my cube complete. Now, here's where we go with another invisible line. Remember, this would be an invisible line. I won't be able to see that through my cube all the way through here if this were a solid cube. But if this were a glass box, glass cube, I would be able to see those glass plates and glass lines. So I am going to now, from this point, I'm going to make this line over here a little bit better because I can see I'm a little bit off. Okay, so from this point here where this line and my top outer line of the cube met, I'm going to take this line down to meeting the line down here on the inside, that line we wouldn't be able to see. And again, I need to be parallel to these outer lines straight down. Okay, so now this is where it's getting pretty wild, because if we're thinking about this, all these lines, they don't make sense, but they do. Because if we're looking at this through a piece of plastic or a glass cube, it would. So now I've got the outer line over here of my cube, and now I take that outer line and this outer line, and through, this would be my outer bottom line of my cube that I couldn't see because it's in the background. There it is. So here's my cube. I've got the front of my cube. I've got a side of my cube, the top of my cube, the side of my cube I can't see, and then the back side of my cube right here. And it all is going back to that vanishing point. And that's how I create accurate dimension, especially when I get drawing houses. So we're going to do some more vanishing point stuff this week. We are going to draw a house eventually, and then we're going to draw a landscape just to work with horizons and vanishing points. And where do our eyes, where are the focal points in a work of art? But this is just the beginning of a cube. Now I'm going to play around with this a little bit more. I'm going to put a bunch of cubes on here, and I'm really going to focus on getting a cube accurate and seeing if I can play with those lines. So I'm going to outline this again. So in case this is looking like, how, I don't understand that. You may very well understand it, but sometimes it can be difficult for our minds to figure something out when it's not making sense, not making complete sense to us. Okay, so there is the original cube, right? If I color it in, okay, then I created the side. This would be the side of my house if this were a house. And I color it in. So now I have 2 walls. Now I have the roof. It's a flat roof right here. But that's a 3-sided object, and I want one a 3-sided. I need a 6-sided object for this to be a cube. So that's where I have to go in, and I've got to put in my lines here to make this wall. So then I'm going to color this wall in even darker. This would be the wall I can't see from over here. Then this line here to make the back side of my cube. And hopefully that is looking like a cube to you and making sense. So remember the vanishing point, pick it and stick with it, and you could go either direction. Tomorrow we're going to work with, I think, train tracks. We're going to make an image with train tracks and pick a vanishing point, just to use those parallel lines again and see how it works in creating an image. Okay, so practice these if you're interested. I'm not much of a ruler person, but I do like the idea of creating things that work dimensionally, you know, that follow the same plane, the same line of sight. Okay, have a great day. Happy art making. I will see you back here tomorrow. Thank you.